Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's exactly 7 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. I welcome you to the education debate, and you have been informed that this debate will start from today, 19th October till 28th of October. So today we're going to start with two sessions, and we're going to have group 1 versus group 2. So for today, for the education debate from 19th to 28th, it's going to be on weekdays starting from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, where we shall be having 4 groups in all the 2 sessions. So for group 1, members, the opposers and the proposers, you're going to be having 5 minutes to talk, to debate. Each candidate, or let me say each debater is supposed to take only 5 minutes. So we are going to start with the opposers and we shall go to the proposers. So our motion today is should cell phones be allowed in secondary schools? And we have the judges in the house, and our first judge is Mr. Zubai Muri Gawango and Mr. Kabiji Rashid. So you're going to start and introduce yourself and your course, then you go direct to the point. And I'm going to be the timekeeper at the same time, I'm going to double as your moderator, and I am Akui Jovia, a mass comm student in year 3. So let us start from my right.
Okay, thank you. Other fellow judges present, my fellow participants, and the audience, I salute you all in your respective capacities. So this awesome night, we've been presented with a theme that says cell phones should be allowed during class time. I should bring to your notice that in the past generations, we have noticed the disadvantages of not being equipped with technology. Furthermore, I would like to pose this question to the judges, to the audience, and to the critics available. Have you ever thought of what education would be without technology that is being used through the phones? I think you will answer that after I'm done. Now, basically, to start on, I will start with the definition of a cell phone. A cell phone is a type of telephone that does not require a landline connection, and that's according to Wikipedia. I would further go to what Cambridge defines a class as. Cambridge Dictionary defines a class as a group of students or learners that are being taught. Therefore, allow me proceed to the introduction of today's theme. That is, should cell phones be allowed during class time? Before I go any further, I'm a student of education, Bachelor's of Arts in Education, majoring in literature/English, and basically that's about me. My name's Namais Emma Wanga. So to start on, I would like to brief you shortly about how cell phones, or what has brought about this topic today in this accustomed evening. First of all, let me refer you to the NCDC, that's the National Curriculum Development Center, that has issued a directive that's going to take place soon in our education sector. This is advocating for the use of phones during class time, basically starting from the lower secondary schools. And if you're to doubt anything about that, you can please consult the Independent magazine. Basically, also, a case study that was done by the National Information Technology Authority in Uganda found that 67% of the population are buying the idea that phones should be used in order to accompany students to their excellence in education. Therefore, without taking much time, let me tell you some of the reasons as to why I strongly believe that phones should be allowed in classrooms. First and foremost, let's talk about access to information. And this can be done through the internet. The internet provides a wide variety of information that students need. Basically, during class time, a human being is subject to mistakes. But if I am to be confident with you guys, a computer or the internet wouldn't mess up anything because it does what you instruct it. So the internet basically is going to give you facts that the lecturer may mess up with. So we are going, as I move on, we can also speak of enhancing collaboration. So about collaboration, collaboration is about bringing together. To collaborate, this can basically take place between the student and the teacher and the student. So we realize that through cell phones in classrooms, we are going to realize that collaboration, joint collaboration. I'm speaking about academic collaboration between the teachers and the students. This can be done through Zoom, emails, and other facilities that the internet has put across through cell phones. Take for instance, here at Iuiu, the Benevolent University main campus in Uganda, we realize that we have been provided with the ERPs. These ERPs, this is a platform where the lecturers are uploading the information they're going to teach. And also our results are also being uploaded on those ERPs. So basically, members, this alone provides you with what it takes to have an internet in the classroom. And this also adds on to why we should use phones or cell phones in our classroom.
Thank you very much, our first debater. Let us go to the next debater. And you have strictly 5 minutes.
Is it supposed to be concurrent?
Concurrent. Okay, let us make it concurrent. Or one side will first have the opposers, the proposals, then you have the opposers. So,
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wamkota Isma, student at Iuiu. Wamkota Isma, Karabuki. Student at Iuiu pursuing the bachelor's in science education, specializing in mathematics and computer. Today we are here on this debate to this motion talk about the impact of cell phones in classes. So the first speaker has given the definitions about the cell phones, which are okay, but his points were outside the use of the cell phones in the classes. One of the disadvantages of cell phones in these classes is these cell phones, when students come with them in class, they cause distractions and interruptions in the classes. You find the lectures are going on and the teacher is teaching, but students are on music, they're on social medias like Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, and they tend to share bad content that disrupts other students in the groups, and the student leaves the lecture with not even understanding what the teacher is teaching, with nothing understood. You find most girls, they veil themselves. You find a girl veiling herself, coming with the earphones in the ears, and the lecturer is teaching, but the whole hours of teaching, she's on music, and she leaves the lecture room with nothing understood. Then these earphones also they cause interruptions in the way that students receive unnecessary calls during lectures and those classes. Find a student in class, but the ringtones themselves, they have some funny ringtones of gravity songs. The lecturer is teaching, but someone sees a call disrupting all the other students in the class. Then another point is the isolation of students in class. A student comes in class, instead of concentrating on what the teacher is teaching, she or he concentrates on the phone. And he leaves the class with nothing understood from the lecturer, because everything she thinks she should research and get the solutions through the phones. Then these phones also cause low concentration of students on what the lecturers are teaching, because they know they are going to search and find the solutions on phones. Yet some solutions that even they are incorrect. You go on Google, Google gives you some funny definitions and the solutions that they are not even part of the syllabus being taught. Then these phones also limit the critical thinking of a student, in a way that you find the student being asked a simple question, instead of thinking critically to use his brain, the student goes on Google. When he asks about who is the president of Uganda, I find a student cannot even answer that, just goes on Google to search for that. Okay. Then there's also interpersonal relationship about the discussions, whereby you find the lecturers, when these phones are allowed in class, the lecturers assume everyone has a phone, and they introduce what you call online learning, whereby I'm sure that we have online classes, not even 60% of the students attend those classes. So lecturers assume everyone has a smartphone, and that also has led to problems in classes, whereby students are left. Some students are left out, and they don't even know what we have been studying about. So those are the issues that the problems that cell phones have caused in classes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to our two debaters. We had one proposer and the other opposer. And we have both had their points. We have had their concerns, and have raised what they had to raise. So this is how we are going to go through with this debate. We are going to have questions within 2 minutes. You both from the opposers and the proposers. You ask questions to the people who are presented. So in just 2 minutes. Let's start with you. Okay, so yeah, any of the opposers can ask the first speaker a question within 2 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Bakvisem Derek, pursuing Bachelor's of Education, that's Physics ICT. When the first presenter was presenting his issues about cell phones, he talked about issues to do with collaboration. Maybe I'd like him to enlighten more about this collaboration, because he was like, this collaboration is about the lecturers are not around and they can conduct online lectures. So maybe I would like him to explain further about this collaboration, because we've seen such instances that lecturers are not on ground and they are conducting online lectures, but we are having even not 30% of the kids attending such lectures? How are they helping us?
Thank you so much for the question, and let us have one other question from this side.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for raising your concern. I'm glad you raised that concern because I am here to make you understand. So you've spoken about the point of collaboration. My dear member, collaboration between the lecturers and the students is not only online. Collaboration can mean in terms of notes sharing, because we are moving in a world that is digital. We no longer need to write on chalkboards or the boards that we are using right now at campus. Right now, we are using an advanced system of the ERP where the lecturer is going to send you the notes and basically is going to explain. Is the point taken? Sorry.
The 2 minutes are over. Let us go direct to the next speaker because we don't have time. So the next speaker is going to come from the proposing side. So members of the proposing side, do you have any question for the previous speaker?
Thank you. So the previous speaker talked about...
In just 30 seconds.
Thank you. The previous speaker spoke about Google providing funny answers. I would like you to provide relevant evidence where Google has ever made a mistake to provide irrelevant answers, considering the instruction you have instructed it. Thank you.
Okay. This is about Google giving on answers. You find like maybe if you ask a question, they may give you answers that they're not even the same with what the lecturer has given you in the handouts or the booklets. And some of them, they are prolonged. They are too long for you to understand. I'm sure even you, there are some answers you have never understood, which has Google has ever given you.
Thank you
It's
so
okay.
much. Let us put our next speaker, that is from the proposing side. You have strictly 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear judges in the house, respected opponents, my fellow proposers and the audience out there. Good evening to you all. My name is Masuba Akim, a student in Iuiu, pursuing a Bachelor's of Science Education, specializing in mathematics and computer studies. I am here to propose the motion that says cell phones should be allowed in classroom. And I thereby stand in to support this motion with my compelling reasons to as why this should be considered right. First and foremost, we have seen that these phones are more the first point could be safety of information. You will find that when a student uses a phone to keep their information which they have acquired from the lectures, we find that this information is more secure than when a student uses a notebook to keep them. because it is very easy. For example, if you lose a phone and you have saved work, maybe on your account, I would say the email account, you can be in position, however much the phone is lost, but when you buy another phone, you will be in position to recover your information, and therefore you will continue with your learning smoothly. Another point is, these phones we see, they are very small, they are very micro in size, but their storage capacities are more than that of the book, whereby you can find a phone carrying even more than 1,000 books, which are written in soft copy, and whereby a book carries very less information. And you see that if you store your information on the phone, the information it carries it is high. So this is also another advantage of using a cell phone in a class. There are also another point that says it aids distance learning. Here you will find that even in the absence of a teacher, students shall be able to involve in learning process with their lecturer wherever he or she is. This is because the phones can allow that connection from distance between the student and the teachers. Another point is these phones also can help to promote parents' involvement in the learning of students, whereby if you have a child, you have sent them to school, providing them with a phone.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're still listening 93.1 Iuiu FM, and we are having the education debate where we have a motion that states, should cell phones be allowed in secondary schools? It is 29 minutes past 7 o'clock, and at exactly 30 minutes, we are going to have announcements. So before we go to our next debater, our next speaker, let us first go to adverts.
Question to the previous speaker is, he was talking about online learning. You are just concentrating only on university level, but we have also the secondary level and primary level. My question is, do you think every child at all those school levels can afford to have a smartphone for online learning?
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for your question, my dear opponent. I would like to assure you that even if every student or kid is not in a position to access a smartphone, right, it is true. But this is a responsibility of parents and the school administrators to put in they can provide these funds on loans for students, such that every student can access a phone.
Thank you so much. Let us go to our next speaker. We don't have time.
Yeah, once again, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Bakivisem Derek, a student in Iuiu, Bachelor's of Education in Physics ICT. Yeah, I will begin from a point of Parliament. During the 8th Parliament, that's when the Right Honorable Kadaga was still in Parliament. This motion was also there. I would like to thank Iuiu that has brought this motion this day. In the course of the meeting of the Parliament, when it had sat, they discussed, and after discussing, it wasn't passed. The bill wasn't passed because of its disadvantages or the disadvantages of possessing phones during class hours. And among them were, let us look at the expense of these mobile phones we are having. Believe me or not, even us, among us in our classes, lecturers are conducting online lectures, but many people are like, we shan't attend these because we don't have the smartphones. Parents cannot afford. Everybody is not affording these smartphones. Thus, we are saying smartphones should not be allowed in classes because they are not favoring all of us. And before I continue, how I wish you all joined us by opposing this. Another thing we should look at is the loss of employment by certain people around school. You realize many people are depending on the printerly work. When you go down there, you meet many printers that are doing a lot of paperwork for us. Because when lecturers are sending these notes, we are required to print them out. Imagine a situation when we are in class and then all of us are having smartphones and all work is being sent to our smartphones. There will be no need for these printers around. So many people will lack what to do because there is nothing like work to be done. We are possessing the work we came here to get on these smartphones. So many people's lives will be in jeopardy. Another thing we should talk about is cheating of examinations. Cheating of examinations. Many of us, if allowed to go with smartphones, we would cheat, that I would tell you, during the examinations. Yet examinations are set to serve a certain purpose, to test our levels of how best we've understood content in class. So they would lose purpose at all. Then another thing we should talk about is the health issues. Since there is a lot of addiction during night times, during daytimes, we are on our phones. And also if we add these hours during class times that we are having these smartphones on and we are using them during lessons, then we would face eye strains, we would face health issues, and also the radiations from the batteries of the phones. If at all we carry these phones, there are a lot of radiations from these smartphones, and in the end would damage some of our body organs like the reproductive system. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you so much. Any question for the speaker from the opposers?
Yes, thank you so much, the previous speaker. You made a point on the bill that was passed some time back during Kadaga's reign. I would like to inform you, if you're not aware, that the said Minister for Higher Education, Mr. John Moyingo, revealed that the Ministry of Education is working on the policy of education and is soon going to be revealed.
Thank you for your information, Mr. Honorable, but I would also like to inform you that according to the current state the country is in, I don't see hopes of implementing such a policy in Uganda, because later on we had serious parliaments during Kadaga's reign, but you can't convince me, according to what we see in our parliaments, that such a policy will be passed on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The previous speaker. Let us go direct to the proposers. Our next speaker, please.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
You have 5 minutes, strictly 5 minutes.
The judges, the opposers, proposers, and the listeners at large. When two elephants fight, it is the grass that gets Arts. Like Nicholas, a student pursuing Bachelor's of Arts in Education, majoring in Geography and History. When I saw the motion, when I saw the motion, I was surprised because I didn't expect to have the opposers. Reason being, the opposers are also students, but they are possessing the phones and they're using in the class. So with that view, I didn't, because you can't implement a reason when that reason you are implementing, you are not applying. Leaders should be exemplary. This is the new Uganda. We need intelligent leaders who can change the things. We need people like the PL Lumumba, people like Malema. Eh? So that's why even they say the crested icon is standing. This is a .com world. We are changing things. We are moving from the backwardness of our elders. We are going in front. We have digital. I insist that phones should be used in classes in the way that phones are like, in case of an emergency situations, it helps students, like for instance, as we move in today's life, we are affected by different types of diseases. For example, many of us are asthmatic. In case someone falls sick or has any immediate problem in class where the teacher is not around, there is no any staff who can offer help. If a student have any phone, it can help to reach out for the help, can call the doctors, can pass the information to the parents. Besides that, phones helps in documenting ideas in a way that, we take example, if the teacher is in the chalkboard, you can get your phone and you take a picture of a certain information. So when you go back at home, you can show what you have taken on the phone, you revises it, remembers it. So that one helps you to put your mind to be interacted with the lessons. Another point is that it saves money in the way that phone, as a phone, it has a mobile money. You as a student, you can put it there outside the class, then it has many apps. For example, it has dictionaries, atlases, encyclopedias, these ones, and other books of reference. So if you're in the class, the teacher is talking, is teaching you, for example, is teaching you literature. He can give you a term you don't understand. If you have a phone in the class, you can pull out your phone, go to the dictionary, look for the word, and get the meaning. Another point is that
the time is up. Can we have questions for the proposer? Any question, please?
Okay, the previous speaker has been talking about the emergencies in class. I think most of your points are outside the classroom. You're talking about the phones in the class, being used in the class.
Thank you, but I think you have mistaken. I said, I was well, right? I said, in case the teacher is not in the class, there is no any staff members around. Take example, the staff are not around. There is an immediate problem in the class. What will you do? What will you do? Because you carry phone is up to the class. There is no one. You have to pull out your phone. You make an alarm.
Okay, thank you so much. Let us go to our next speaker. That is from the opposing side. Remember, you have 5 minutes. And go direct to the point.
Thank you very much. My name is Obuin Joshua, a student at Iuiu pursuing Bachelor of Science Education, and I'm majoring in mathematics and ICT. In fact, my being here is not just by mistake, but I've actually come to oppose this motion, which says that should cell phones be allowed in class? What we must know is this is first of all a question. It is asking all of us. And what does it call for? It calls for understanding in the motion and getting to know what it means. Remember, what you're talking about is a class. They are not referring to a community, neither are they talking about a country. So what we must understand is, talking about a class, we are referring to some elements which you can find in a class. Besides that, you find that a class itself is composed of 3 elements that we must know in our ears. One of them, here we are talking about the students. You bring the subject plus the teacher. So when we talk about using cell phones in classrooms, one of the points I say that this one must not be allowed, simply because one of the reasons is that it encourages laziness. Talking about laziness, all of us know what laziness means. The opposite of laziness is hard work. You know, this happens the way that when a teacher himself gives work for the students or pupils to do. Remember, for this case, we are looking at both sides, not only university, but we are referring to secondary and primary as well. Now, take this scenario whereby a teacher gives you work to do. Then at the end of it all, you don't even bother. Besides that, because remember, these things are addictive. Having phones, you find that instead of somebody doing what is necessary for research, at the end, somebody goes ahead to do what? To do funny things which are not recommended. Meaning, for this case, somebody is not utilizing the phone in a way that is supposed to be used, at the end causing laziness because you think that every time you can do whatever you want because it is your phone. Yes. In summary, as the minutes are going, one of the things I may say is this is what they call digital divide. When we say digital divide, you know what we mean here. As an ICT upcoming teacher, these electronics here are not for everybody. Remember, we're not only looking at secondary, university, but we are referring these things to all types of schools that we have in Uganda. So talking about the digital divide between the poor and the rich, not all of us can have this with us. That's why you find that most people are always in problems in a way that they are unable to have what is necessary for what? For education in their lives. So you find that having these phones also causes digital divide, because now you'll be forced to have a phone for you to access much of the information. Therefore, if these things are continuing to be done like this, it will affect the poor. Then at the end, jobs will be for the rich and the poor will be what? Will be left at home simply because you are unable to do what? To access the information. That's what I can say for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You have spoken about the point of laziness, and you spoke, the example was that the student, instead of doing work, they go on the phone and they watch funny things. Sir, what is laziness? Because the point was laziness, but the example you gave is not connected. Doing funny things, how? Another thing is that you have spoken about.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, what I meant here is laziness itself. This is a situation whereby you even have the material to perform what you want, but at the end of it all, you even fail to achieve simply because you are interested in other things instead of using the phone in a right way. At the end of it all, you are unable to do what was required of you with the phone. I don't know if it is making sense to you.
It's making sense.
Thank you very much.
Our next speaker, please, from the proposing side. Excuse me. You have scripted 5 minutes.
Let me take this opportunity to thank the Iuiu staff for providing us with such a momentous moment. First of all, I thank the judges who are present, and I respect them in their various dignitaries, my fellow proposers and opposers, plus the moderator. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. By the name, I'm Zulu Arafat, doing Bachelor's of Arts in Education, and I'm proposing the motion because of the following points that I'll be uttering out. When you look at cell phones, for example, they consist a lot of apps. Let me call them apps or tools. For example, look at the calculator, guys who are doing mathematics. You see that when you are in a class interaction, because when you look at the phases of teaching, there is what they call the interactive phase, where a teacher will interact with the students. Now, for example, a teacher is calculating a number, will ask, guys, can I have the answer for this? If a student is having the cell phone, for example, having such a tool, we see that it will be easy for him or her to press, get the answer, and the lesson will go on easily. So what am I trying to derive from this point is that it eases teaching, or it promotes easy learning. For example, since cell phones contain tools like calculators, especially those guys who are doing mathematics. Another point I'll talk of is in terms of security. Back some 4 to 5 months back in this country of ours, we see that there is a certain school in Kasese where terrorists came and attacked the school. And we see that they killed a lot of students there. But how did we see this information starting saturating the whole country, and how did they get to know this? It was because these guys were using phones, that the information was flowing to the various authorities that were concerned. For example, the police, the what? I myself am a victim of the circumstance. So one day, I was in the class that was senior 5, 6. So the school, the upper floor of the flat, fire started from nowhere. So when fire started from nowhere, the DOS and the head teacher were not around, had gone for some activities outside the class. So from there we had a guy, in a school there are always those stubborn students who carry those cell phones. So when this guy came, the fire started. And how did these guys get to know that the fire had started? It was because he had the phone for the DOS, the phone number. So he took pics and contacted the what? The DOS. So we were able to overcome such a circumstance. Then another thing I'll talk about is organization and time. For example, you guys in your hostels, you have phones whereby if the lecture is there, let me say at 8:30, you will set. Thank you.
One question, please. You say your name and then yes, the question.
Thank you very much. My name is Obuin Joshua once again. Actually, you mentioned the point of calculators. What I should only try to tell my opponent is that these calculators here came because of human laziness. It goes back to my point. Because, take for example, this situation happens in a way that somebody wants to ask a question, but it's 1 divided by 3 minus 8. You start looking around at the entrance to the phone, meaning that you can't use your brain for what? For thinking. So my question is, why do you think that these calculators were brought? Instead, you are telling us that they were brought purposely for calculations. Why were they introduced?
Okay, let me answer my friend. When you look at the purpose of calculators, for example, I can tell you a point of, as a teacher, you know that sometimes when I was talking about the interactive stage of as a skill of teaching or phase of teaching, through using calculators, you'll see that, for example, you're given a number, the thing you were talking about of laziness. As a teacher, you have to possess organizational skills in teaching as a professional. As a pedagogue, you have to have such skills. So how do you organize your skills? I'll ask you a question that, for example, you're a driver of a car and you're drunk, you cause an accident. Will they blame the car or they will blame the driver? Of course, they will blame the what? The driver, because the car has no problem. You're the problem. You get? Think you have got my point.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Let us go to our final speaker, then we come to the end of this first session.
It is a disservice if I do not appreciate the moderator, the judges, and also the opposing team that is available to convince our fellow colleagues to join us to see that we oppose the motion that says cell phones should be allowed in class. First of all, statistics shows that 58% of the learners having cell phones in class, they use them for entertainment and also their own amusement. So, and also one man in the names of having.
What's your name?
Oh, my name is Nangumba Rogers, and I was coming to that. I'm doing Bachelor's of Science Education in majoring in Math and ICT. And that's the reason why I am here to oppose that it's not proper for students to come with cell phones in class. So allowing schools to allow students to come with cell phones in class, it is a disservice to them, because in Uganda, this is almost a third world, and which does not have all the resources to purchase all those gadgets. So, to a low-income earner, parent cannot afford that, and therefore it is damaging to say that students should carry the phones in class. Just based on the history has registered a number of intelligent men just because these men use their brains to think critically and analyze things without consulting certain things. It is the worst thing today that if we start carrying our knowledge in our pockets instead of our brains, then it is that we are going to produce people who are not going to be nation builders, but these people are going to be nation destroyers. So I would ask you to sum up everything. The disadvantages of having phones during the learning process, it has not been well defined by the proposing side. Remember, class means teacher, student, and the subject. So if we do not stop this, if we do not end this, it is very impossible to produce people, citizens in a country that are reliable and also can develop ideas to see that we are moving ahead. Today, we are depending on what the historians did. It's because today's, when you look at the countries that are using technology in class, it is because they are depending, there is nothing new. Everything is just repeating itself. Therefore, as I conclude, I want to ask the proposing team to join us, to go back to where we are. In fact, most of us, as we are here like this, none of you has been engaged in such a thing. And I don't know why we are supporting something we don't know. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Please join us.
Any question for him? In just 30 seconds, please.
Thank you, the previous speaker. You mentioned a point of statistics. I would like you to provide a source that says that 50% of students are misusing cell phones in school.
Thank you very much. I have the evidence is Wikipedia. When you download it, it gives you
Yes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me hope I'm live on air. I promise my wife that I'll be live. Now, members, I want to start by thanking my dear students for this beautiful debate. I'm just going to give a few remarks, and then my colleague will come and declare the marks. I don't know whether we are supposed to do it in this session.
Yeah, we're supposed to do it in this session, but within 2 minutes.
Within 2 minutes, okay. Then my colleague is going to come and declare the marks. Basically, in this debate, the motion was, should cell phones be allowed in class? We're very specific. In class, not in school. Some of you are giving us points of in school. And then we looked at majorly 6 areas. We looked at the introduction. We looked at, and the introduction carries 20 marks. How you introduce. And then we looked at articulation. How articulate are you? Are you eloquent enough? How are you explaining the points? And then we look at confidence. Articulation carries 40 marks. Confidence carries 10 marks. And then we have the cross-examination skills. If they ask you a question, how are you going to answer that question? How confident are you when answering that question? And what answer are you giving anyway? And then there we also look at 10 marks. And then time management, which I have to say most of you have been very bad timekeepers. That one is out of 10 marks. And then lastly, the conclusion. How are you concluding? So basically, those are the areas we have looked at. Maybe I can get back to the moderator, maybe to say a few things as we are calculating here, and then we declare the winner.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just as I said, and we are having the education debate. This is the first session, and it is coming to an end. From 8 to 9 p.m., we are going to have the second session that has the motion that states, is punishment of children by killing necessary in an African setting? And when we come back for the second session, we are going to have different proposers and different opposers. So thank you so much, our judges, Mr. Kabiji Rashid and Mr. Muri Zubair Galiwango. I hope I'm pronouncing that name so well.